Welcome back to the channel, beautiful people. You're here on Black Belt Secrets with what I really think about the UK knife law, as promised on my video on Black Belt Barrister. If you haven't watched that one, I will link that in the description below. You can go and watch that afterwards when you've watched this video. So what do I really think of the UK knife law? Because a lot of people say that it is very restrictive, particularly around the world. Some people even think it's silly, restrictive, far too restrictive. But what do I really think? Well, here it is. I think that there isn't any real reason to be carrying a knife around with you in public. And even if there is, a folding pocket knife, so long as it's one that's going to be relatively safe, and I know a lot of people say that they're not safe when you fold them out and then you use them, it's going to damage your fingers. But the one that I have, actually, I'll just go fetch it right now. Right, the one that I have is this Spyderco knife here. This is not a sponsored video, but this is a very neat little folding pocket knife, which comes within the exemption under Section 139 of the Criminal Justice Act 1988, because the blade is not more than 3 inches and it does just open and fold up. It's immediately foldable at all times. It's just a neat little knife. However, even that said, I don't really see the need to carry this around in public. So I don't carry this around in public. I don't carry any knife around in public. The only time I think anyone really should have a knife carrying around in public is if they're going to and from work, they're clearly a tradesperson and they need to use the knife for their trade. I think that's it. I don't really think there is any other real genuine need to have a knife with you. Unless perhaps, let's say you're going camping and you need, let's say I'm going camping and then I need to take something like this with me, which is going to be relatively easy to open, quickly use for something, and then put it back in my pocket. And then it will be useful as a pocket knife. Like when you're back in the Scouts and you're, making rafts or ropes, cutting ropes and things like that. Then you've got a reason, a good reason. Or if you're climbing and, clearly when you're climbing, if you get tangled up, you need a knife to cut the rope. I used to do climbing many, many years ago. So I can see the need to have the knife with you at those times. But out and about in the streets, in the shops, just going about your business, I can't see the need to have one of these with you. So the law doesn't stop you from having something like this one with you, because that's why there's an exemption for it. The law wasn't designed to prevent you from carrying around normal tools. It was designed to be very restrictive to make sure that you have a good reason and that you can prove that it's a good reason to have this with you. Because as I just explained, I think there are very few and far between. Now, lots of people will probably disagree with that and come up with lots of different good reasons. Great, if you have a good reason and you can justify it as a good reason, then it probably is a good reason. But remember, an explanation is not a good reason. So explaining why you've got it with you is not necessarily a good reason. As I used in my other video, the example of buying the knives and coming back from the shop. Having it with you because you've just bought it and you're on the way home, that's a good reason. But if you bought it from the shop, you're on the way home, you get sidetracked, you go into the pub, you've still got them with you. That's an explanation. It's not a good reason. And so there's a subtle difference between the two. Because if you've got knives with you in your bag or whatever, then it isn't a good reason to have them with you just because you've done a detour on the way home. And as I said in the previous video, if you are cooperative with the police and you are, oh my gosh, I forgot about those, and the police can see that you're being genuine and there's just a few of you sat down and whatever, then you're possibly okay. But if you are argumentative or obstructive about it, or there's an argument and the reason they're found is because you're in the middle of a fight or something, then again, having them with you is not going to be a good reason. It might be an explanation, but it won't be a good reason. So it always depends on all of the circumstances as to whether you've got this thing with you or not. So I understand that the law is very restrictive, but I do think that with the very few reasons that there are to be a good reason to have a knife with you, I think the law is actually sensible. A lot of people won't agree with that. That's fine. You can tell me you don't agree with it in the comments. You can tell me why. I'm interested to read those comments as to why this is a democratic society. We do create law which is for the good of the whole of society, and then therefore views are taken into account. But it's also taken into account the cases that come to court and what's happened in those cases and how people might have skirted the law. Just like the mobile phone law just recently changed because some guy was using his phone to take photographs and films as he was driving by. That was a loophole in the law. It was clearly dangerous. It's now been changed. Is that a good thing? Well, I think so, yes, because if someone's distracted, they only need to be distracted that long, and then suddenly they go smash into the back of another car, and they go into someone else, and then people get killed. So ultimately, yes, it's good that that law changed. And so those are my thoughts, really. Happy to hear your thoughts. Happy for you to disagree with me. Not everyone's going to agree all the time. But please do remember to like this video and subscribe, because I like to share my thoughts with you on this channel here. And obviously the other channel, Black Belt Barrister, is a little bit more straight to the point, and I don't tend to share my opinion there. But either way, I thank you for watching and have a great day.